When you come to a church where a rebel was their pastor, that church is not normal. So you better come in there. You will even be advised to cast away the leadership completely, the deacons, the elders completely. Unless if there is a Joshua amongst them, cleanse the place completely, and before you now begin to put in new government. That's the only way you can restore that church. Rebellion is a terrible sin. So God Almighty came in. There are some of those fallen angels, by reason of what they did, God bound them with chains and cast them in a place they call Tartarus. They are still held there. Though in the last days, God will start releasing them. From what is going on right now, I can tell you that 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 or so have been released. And when you watch Hollywood in their movies, it lets you have an idea of what goes on in the Satanic kingdom. You've watched Arnold Schwarzenegger's movie. Was it Terminator? You will hear thunderstorms and somebody, and he tells you he came from another planet or whatever, and he's Terminator. To all those, they did not just cook it up. They are telling us what is going on, that fallen beings are coming to the earth to carry out a mission. When you watch all these Avatar, how a man is in this world, he finds himself in another world. That's agents of darkness. But you can also see it from the other side, that you can be in the flesh and turn loose the glory of God and be in another realm altogether. Those movies that open you up to another realm always hit the highest rates when it comes to sales, because somehow in the hearts of men there is this identity with the fact that this thing is real. Am I communicating? So God now came, bound those guys there, and after binding them, for reasons best known to him, he left Satan and some other, because he wanted to deal with Satan very well. You know, there's one thing about God. You provoke God, he will plan his vendetta. His justice is perfect. So the big boy, he decided to allow him, to give him an opportunity to keep messing up, so that his cup of fury will be full. And when it's full, and he decides at that full state to pounce on Satan, the destruction of that guy will be more devastating than those guys bound in Tartarus. It's a very grievous thing to fall into the hands of an angry God. So he just, in the midst of those guys' presence, he announced. God's announcement to create man was not done in hiding. He didn't just tell Jesus, okay, let's create man now. No. The angels, Agai, the Sura, all the angels he created, and the fallen ones were all in attendance when he said, "Let us make man in our own image, after our likeness, and let them have dominion over all the works of my hands." Satan heard it. Michael heard it. The cherubim and the seraphim, they all heard it. And God spoke. Man became. God spoke. And man became. That man came out having the very nature of God, was designed to function like God. And there was one thing that distinguished that man from every other creation. That man was clothed with the glory of God. It was that glory that he was crowned with and clothed with that gave him dominion over every work of God's hands. Now, I choose to use the word that it was the distinguishing characteristic that gave him glory over all the works of God's hands, because the Bible makes us to understand that everything God created, there was an aspect of glory God placed on them. Am I communicating? Let me find a way and show you one or two things. 1 Corinthians 15:39. It says, all flesh is not the same, right? It's not the same flesh, but there's one kind of flesh of men, another flesh of beasts, another of fishes, and another of birds. There are also celestial bodies and bodies terrestrial, but the glory of the celestial is one, and the glory of the terrestrial is another. There is one glory of the sun, and another glory of the moon, and another glory of the stars. For one star different from another star in glory. You know. So he was using it to explain the resurrected body when we are raised from the dead, that we're going to have a different glory of body, right? Okay, good. So every element he created has glory in it. Remember, glory talks about brilliance, magnificence, excellence, honor. In man, he puts his own glory on man, and that glory exceeds the glory of others. That's why man can have dominion over every other thing. So you could imagine when Adam was created with that brilliance and glory, you could imagine what other angels and different kinds of people were thinking about. You could imagine what Satan had in mind. All that was going through his mind is, what can I do to make this man lose this glory? And when he loses this glory, he will lose the dominion to govern the earth. That was what was on his mind. When you begin to increase in the glory of God, don't be fooled. There are people that are not excited about it. And they want to do certain things to disconnect you from the glory. That's how it is when you connect yourself by the Spirit of God to a Bible-believing church that also believe in the glory of God. People start saying different kinds of things to disconnect you. So there was a proclamation in heaven when man was created. And this proclamation, I believe, took place at that time after creation, when God will come down in the garden to visit man and talk with him. One of the angels was so astounded and, amazed by the depth of what God invested in man and the closeness that developed between God and man. Such closeness that even no angel has ever experienced it before.